Welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville here with Tyler Wiemann, about to break down some fantasy baseball. For today's slate, we've got 10 games to look at for today in fantasy baseball. But the first thing I want to start off with is a story of redemption for us and just the lessons we can learn from just, persevering in life and just getting up and trying again. On Monday, we were 0 for 5 in our picks, which is something I don't believe that's ever happened before on the On Deck podcast.
No,
it was just not a good day, but we got up, we dusted ourselves off, and yesterday, 3 for 3 in our home run calls, 3 for 4 in our prop bets. Man, did we crush yesterday in the 2 for Tuesday or what? It was just
it was quite the day. I loved it.
Day. Not only that, but in our adult league softball, we rebounded in the biggest way. Last week, we had probably the worst game we've had, picked up the L, but this week, just rebounded.
Yep. Picked up the dub. Had a fun game.
The tacos persevered. We persevered on the On Deck podcast.
And now we're going to bring it back today.
Bringing it back today. We're
have another good day.
The streak.
Keep it alive.
Good. So, 10 games on the slate for today. We'll start off with a look at our high-owned pitchers for today. And the first guy we're going to talk about is Red Sox Nathan Eovaldi. He's going up against the Angels today. Now, he is 37% owned on DraftKings, 27% owned on FanDuel. You know what his nickname is, Tyler? Nitro.
I did see that.
That sounds like a pretty cool nickname.
It is a pretty good one.
Fire up the Nitro. Let's go. Let's see if he's got some Nitro in the tank today.
He has had it the last 3 games.
All right. Well, 3.41 ERA. Pretty good there. 2.41 opponent average. And last outing allowed just 4 hits and 6 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts. To your point there, what do you like about him today in fantasy baseball?
So, to the point of the last 3 games, over the last 3 games, he's averaging just over 7 innings, 8.3 strikeouts, and 1.3 earned runs.
Okay.
So he's been crushing it. Now he has the Angels with possibly no Trout.
Possibly no Trout.
Trout left the game with left groin tightness yesterday, and there's not been official word on his status yet today. So make sure you're paying attention about that.
Yeah.
If there is no Trout, Ward is already on the IL. Rodon isn't playing right now. It is a very watered down lineup, and it will make good old Nitro look a little bit better.
Sure.
He's been great lately. Definitely due for a little bit of regression, but I don't know if it's going to happen today. Combined K rate 26%. The one thing against Eovaldi is the Angels in 48 plate attempts are hitting 366 off of him. He is also much worse on the road, 4.4 ERA on the road, 3.87 at home.
Sure. Okay.
And this game is in Angel Stadium. Right. So take it all for what it's worth.
Taking it all into account, plus the fact that he's the highest owned guy, are there better options for today to spend their money, or do you like this particular matchup? Does it depend on Mike Trout, too, if he plays or not? Because I could see that.
It definitely depends on Trout. Trout hasn't been great lately either, though, although he did just hit a home run yesterday. Yeah. So maybe he's coming out of it. But he's fairly cheap for his upside, but he is a high-variance pitcher. If you look through his historical, he either crushes it or he's just meh. Being high-owned, I could see either way going with it. Yeah. I probably won't play him.
Right. Also, the Angels, I mean, just thinking about their season, it's just been such a disappointing season for them in general. They just lost their manager.
Yeah. And what is that, 13 straight now?
Oh, it's just brutal for them. And when you have 2 of the best players in baseball, I mean, it's just kind of a head scratcher for me.
That is one thing also we should talk about is the Angels have lost 13 straight. They haven't been hitting the ball, so it is another...
another point in Nathan Eovaldi, a.k.a. Nitro's favor. Let's talk about Phillies righty Aaron Nola going up against the Brew Crew today. He's 35% owned on DraftKings, 26% owned on FanDuel. Look at his stats here. 3.92 ERA, 2.12 opponent average. Last outing, gave up 5 earned runs in 6 innings pitched versus the Giants. He had 5 strikeouts, but the game before that, he actually had 10 strikeouts against the Braves. And when you look at the Brewers, we know they are a team that does strike out quite a bit.
They do.
So even though he kind of had a little bit of a rough outing last time, it's a good matchup for him.
Yeah, the Brewers are slightly above average offense versus righties, strike out 24%, and that's really where you're talking about. There is K upside. Nola has good K stuff, strikes out 30% of the time. He has a 3.4 FIP on the year. And then versus the Brewers in 90 plate attempts, they are hitting 250 off him with a 24% K rate. The one thing, like Evaldi, Nola also is much worse on the road. He has a 4.22 ERA on the road, and in 4 games at Miller Park, opponents are hitting 273 against him.
Yeah, you got that Miller Park. It's American Family Field now, though.
Yeah, but
It's Miller Park in our hearts.
yeah,
We like stadiums named after beer. Come on.
exactly.
You can't
Let's
change
keep
that.
it rolling.
All right. So let's move ahead and talk about Padres. Shawn Minaya going up against the Mets today. 30% owned on DraftKings, 11% on FanDuel. 3.77 ERA for Minaya, 2.11 opponent average. Last game, great game for him. 1 earned run on 5 hits, 8 strikeouts in 6 innings against the Brewers, the team we just talked about. What do you like about him going up against the Mets, who they can hit the ball?
They can, but they are average versus lefties, and Minaya is a lefty. But they do only K at like 20.6% versus lefties, so
Okay.
some of that upside might be gone. Manaya's been good, though. 3.6 FIP, 27% K rate on the year. His home and road splits are pretty similar. He is at home, and he's a fine play.
Just fine.
Yeah.
Love that word.
He's good.
Not something you'd ever want to be described at in anything. So that being said,
I got to slide in fine as much as I can now.
Let's take a look at some other
Bieber fever, maybe?
finer options. Low-owned guys here. We're talking about Guardians righty Shane Bieber. The Biebs going up against the Rangers today. 25% owned on DraftKings, 20% on FanDuel. And we're talking about Shane Bieber, everybody. He's low-owned. Are you kidding me? 3.12 ERA, 2.38 opponent average in last game. 2 earned runs off 3 hits. 7 innings pitched, had a season-high 11 strikeouts, okay? And the Rangers, they are bottom third in batting average stats.
They're meh.
They're
especially
just
against
meh.
righties.
So we love the Biebs today.
Yeah, Texas versus righties, below average offense, strikes out 23%. And as you noted, it seems like Bieber's strikeout stuff has started. He's averaging 8.3 Ks over the last 4 games. He has a 2.5 FIP over that. And obviously there's some upside there. He has some good histories versus Texas. 29 plate attempts. They're hitting 179 with a 48% K rate versus the Biebs. So obvious upside. The one thing I would like to bring up, though, is Bieber is worse at home than away. Which is weird. Doesn't happen often.
Worse at home.
3.98 ERA at home for his career. 2.75 on the road.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, take it into consideration. I still like the Biebs.
I like
Great
the
play.
Biebs, too. I just got to throw it in there because
Got to give everyone all the information to make an informed decision.
And it's an
appreciate that.
interesting little stat that people wouldn't have known.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you got to make your own informed decisions about these things, everybody.
That's what we're doing here.
Let's talk about Dodgers righty Tony Gonsolin going up against White Sox. 2% owned on both sides, so very low ownership here. For Tony G, 1.59 ERA, 1.59 opponent average. How cute is that?
That is cute.
Matching ERA and opponent average. Love to see it.
Did you see his cute nickname, too?
What's his cute nickname?
Goose.
How adorable. It's like Top Gun.
It is.
That's
It is.
great timing for this movie that's out. Okay, so looking at him, he hasn't given up more than 2 runs in any game this season.
Yeah,
He's been awesome.
He's been too good not to bring up, especially...
The goose is on the loose.
He is. Especially with such low ownership, I feel like it is our duty to bring him up. FIP of 3, 25% K rate, but a 29% K rate over the last 5. So he has been great. However, he has been better at home than on the road. 1.96 ERA at home, 3.07 on the road. So on the road, he's still been good. Just not as good. And the White Sox bottom 5 offense, but only K 19%. So there may not be quite as much upside here. The winds are blowing out, but the temperatures are really cold or cool, I would say. It's like 50 degrees. So I would say that probably balances each other out where it's a non-factor.
Right. You mentioned the strikeouts might not be there, but he's just been so good. And with the ownership the way it is, it's so low.
It's a very good chance to take him.
Yeah.
Like, I would expect that ownership to come up a little bit, but who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cubs righty Marcus Strowman going up against the Orioles today. And when I looked at this first, I was like, this is a little bit risky. 5.32 ERA, 250 opponent average, and he got shelled last time out by the Cardinals.
Sure did.
9 earned runs on 10 hits and 4 innings pitched. He did have 7 strikeouts, though.
Yep.
So you might have at least some strikeouts. And the Orioles, when you're looking at the Orioles, as I almost knocked my microphone, so I'm getting really excited talking about how much the Orioles strike out when they go up against Strowman today.
Yes.
It's pretty favorable for Strowman. So if there's any day to play him, it would probably be today.
So Strowman has some solid upside, but he's super cheap. And that's really like the thing here is he is a high variance pitcher, kind of like Evaldi, but he's 6,900 and, you know, he can have very good days. So that's really why we're going here. He's also in a decent spot. Baltimore's 19th in WRC plus. And then versus righties, they K at 23%. Strowman has a 25% K rate, so there's some upside there. And then also in the last 20, he has a 3.9 FIP, 3.7 FIP over the last 5. Like, he's been a decent pitcher, has some good upside. He's cheap. Baltimore, we know, can hit the ball, but also they can just kind of fade away.
Yeah.
Totally just strike out and
Not
put up
show
zeros.
up at the plate. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about another kind of risky one, given that this is his MLB debut? We're talking about A's lefty Jared Koenig going up against the Braves today. So we don't have some MLB numbers, but listen to this stuff about his minors. Since making his affiliated debut last May, he has a 2.94 ERA at 175 innings. He was Double A Central Pitcher of the Year and entered the week with the second lowest ERA in the PCL, which, for those that aren't as familiar with minor leagues, the PCL is a great hitters league, so it's not always great for pitchers. So the fact that he has the second lowest ERA is saying something. 39 strikeouts over his last 5 starts. And when you look at the team he's going to be opening his MLB debut with, it's the Braves, who strike out a ton.
They do strike out a lot. And I want to start off by saying I am mentioning him here, and I put him here because a lot of people aren't going to have much info on him. So I want to inform our On Deck podcast listeners here about him. But there's upside. He's super cheap, 2.2 ERA in the minors, right around 8 Ks per 9. He's been reaching upper 90s for pitch count, so he's stretched out. He could go further into the games. And as you mentioned, Atlanta strikes out a lot. However, they also crush lefties. Third in WRC plus versus lefties. So this one is risky, but it's another super cheap one. Using him or Strowman could still let you stack one of the expensive offenses and get a good pitcher. Yeah. So that's the whole reason we're talking about these guys today.
I mean, you got to have all the info, like we're saying.
Yeah.
So it's good to know, and it's good because we need some cheaper options because we
totally.
some pricey guys out there.
Pretty much everybody we talked about is expensive except for Strowman and Jared there.
Got to go for those bargain basement guys every now and then.
I really have no idea how he's going to do, but info is yours to do it whatever you want.
Do with it what you will. So let's take a look at some stacks now and how we're attacking the stacks today. Let's start with our high-owned stacks for today and see if we want to maybe play them or fade them. Starting with the Cubs going up against the Orioles. Jordan Lyles is on the hill for them. 4.50 ERA, 2.97 opponent average. Last game, 4 earned runs on 9 hits versus the Mariners. Lyles is a guy who's, can get hit pretty hard. So are you liking where this ownership is for the Cubs? Is it justified?
Yeah, I mean, there's warm weather in Baltimore, so I think that's a big reason why there's more ownership here. Now, Lyles has given up over just 1 home run per 9 this year, But typically, over the last 2 seasons at least, he was a 1.9 home run per 9. So he's been better about not giving up the long ball this year, but I would expect some more regression to a little bit of a higher number. I think one is just way too low for who he is when he's giving up 33% hard contact, a lot of barreled balls. And then also super small sample size, but Baltimore in 16 plate attempts is hitting .533. Cubs have hit him very well. Small sample.
Yeah.
But do with it
what you will.
Yes.
Okay. Talking about the Dodgers going against the White Sox righty Johnny Cueto. Obviously, the Dodgers bats, we know what that looks like. 2.92 ERA for Cueto, 2.53 opponent average for him. Do you like going with Dodgers today? I'm assuming they'll also be a little pricier.
I'm not in love with it.
Okay.
Cueto is a very weird pitcher.
Yeah.
He mixes up everything. His windup, his pitches. So it really messes with hitters' timing. And it's worked so far this year. 3.1 FIP, 0.4 home runs per 9. He is allowing a 42% hard contact rate. But, he's not really letting runs in. He's not letting home runs.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have those numbers that justify the ownership level. Is that kind of where
that's exactly where I'm thinking about it. The implied total is 4.7 though, so sports books do think the Dodgers are going to score some runs. And the Dodgers are hitting 287 off him in 123 plate attempts, so they have a good track record. Again, weather is cold, wind's blowing out. It's probably going to be a non-factor weather-wise.
So you didn't seem too enthused with those two options. Phone on silent here. Let's go to our low-owned then, see where we can find some value. Okay, we got Colorado going up against Giants. Alex Wood, 4.66 ERA, 2.81 opponent average. Righties are getting to Wood.
Yes. 3.11
opponent average there. Charlie Blackmon, I was looking up some of the Colorado bats that have done really well against Alex Wood. Charlie Blackmon has a 4.24 average against Wood and 33 at-bats. And then CJ Cron, another guy, 3.33 and 12 at-bats. Smaller sample size, but these are guys that can get to Mr. Alex Wood.
And Wood has been worse at home. 6.11 ERA at home with an opponent batting average of 3.54.
Okay. And you don't like to see that because it is kind of a pitcher-friendly park.
It is. Wind is pretty strong blowing out tonight, though. However, the Giants stadium is situated, so it knocks down some of that wind, but a high fly ball is still going to be affected. Meanwhile, Colorado, top 10 offense versus lefties. They have the highest batting average in the league versus lefties at 289. A fourth highest slugging, and in 122 plate attempts, they're hitting 348 off Wood.
Wow.
So it might be a long, short night for good old A Wood.
Hate to see that happen to a Georgia Bulldog, but we do like to win money. So
Yep.
Let's take a look at the other side of that matchup. We've got the Giants who will be facing the Rockies righty Antonio Senzatella, who's got a 5.40 ERA, 4.01 opponent average. You heard that right, okay? So he missed 2 weeks with a back injury, and his return did not go well. 7 of 9 Marlins hitters logged multiple hits in that game. He's given up 5 or more runs in 3 of 8 appearances this year. Just people are just hitting him pretty hard, and it's not just the Coors effect, okay? So I'm kind of liking Giants today. Yeah, is what I'm saying.
And over 30% of his matchups, he's given up more than 5 runs.
Yeah.
So you got to like that. Rockies' bullpen isn't great. It's not bad, but it's not great. And the Giants are hitting 326 off Senzatella with a 217 ISO and 53 plate attempts. Giants are a top 10 offense. It's a 4-point implied total, 4.8 implied total. They're in a good spot. I think this game is going to go over the run total, the game total that I have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised ownership isn't as, at least for the Giants too. I could easily see a bunch of hitters doing well against Senzatella today.
There is some East Coast bias when it comes to ownership.
Really?
Whereas the West Coast games just generally don't get as high owned.
Yeah, people don't want to stay up and watch it, I guess.
Yeah. These old folks on the East Coast just can't handle it.
All right, well, let's give everybody an East Coast game then, shall we? We got the Yankees going up against the Twins. It's the righty Chris Archer on the hill for Minnesota. 3.89 ERA, 2.37 opponent average. Not bad numbers for Archer by any means, but he hasn't gone too deep into games either.
Nope.
Nothing past 5 innings. So we're also going to be looking at the bullpen then in that case. So the Twins bullpen ranks 18th in ERA and opponent average. That's not great. And when you're talking about the Yankees bats, buckle up.
I need the gavel because I have to rule that we are back in Yankees. You can play them every day territory.
Okay.
They are hot again.
All rise.
Over 6 runs in the last 10 games, averaging over 6 runs. Archer, meanwhile, 4.94 FIP, 1.4 home runs per 9. He's only gone to 15 outs once this season. Everything else has been under. As you mentioned, the relief pitching for the Twins is not good. And we have 75-degree weather with the winds blowing out. 5-point implied or 5-run implied total. I like it.
Okay. So some great options there today for you. I feel like today we're really leaning into our low-owned guys.
We are. We are.
Really like and feeling good about all that. If you would like to optimize your lineup, make sure to check out LineStarApp.com. This is where we're getting all our information for the show today and how you can best find all the value to win at daily fantasy. Who doesn't want to win? And we're here to help you. LineStar's here to help you as well. So check it out. Now let's go to our home run calls for the day. Yesterday, 3 for 3, baby. Home run shimmy.
She's doing the shimmy
Come
for
on.
me. She's got it. Let's go. Let's go.
So we crushed it yesterday. Looking to run it back today. Who are you going with?
All right. I am going with Anthony Rizzo, king of the short porch. He won't be going to the short porch today. But Rizzo has 3 home runs in the last week. Archer's giving up a 220 ISO, 2 lefties, and Rizzo hits lefties hard, so he's going to get another bomb today.
All right. I'm going with Mike Trout, and there is a note here. He did come out of the game yesterday. He hit a home run yesterday, but then he came out of the game with some groin soreness. So keep an eye on it if he does, in fact, play. I'll give you another play as well. But he is in a slump as well. So why am I going to Mike Trout? Well, because 11 of his 14 home runs have come against righties. And today, facing Nathan Eovaldi, who, despite being an awesome pitcher, he gives up a lot of long balls. In fact, the second highest home run per 9 rate in baseball at 2.27. And I think if Mike Trout is in the game tonight, he is taking him yard. If he's not, we'll just go Showtime. Shohei Ohtani. Why not? I'm big on the Angels bats today, taking him. Somebody on the Angels is taking him yard today.
Probably. It happens every game.
All right. Now, let's move along to our prop bets. Yesterday was 2 for Tuesday, and we were 3 for 4. I'm liking those odds for sure. So, where are you going today?
I am going to Aaron Judge to score a run at plus 105. As we mentioned yesterday, plus money on Judge. You got to go for it. The Yankees are heating up. He hits second. He has Stanton. He has Rizzo. Everybody behind him. He's hit a run in 7 of the last 10, and he's second in baseball with 46 runs on the season. So I think he gets another one tonight.
I do as well. Yesterday, he hit my RBI prop. Got to keep rolling with whenever you see plus money by Mr. Aaron Judge. All right,
and
let's
the
go.
fact that he's hitting second in the lineup with all those guys behind him.
Exactly.
He scores runs with ease.
Yeah.
46 in 55 games.
Yep. You
I'll
can take that bet all day.
Yep.
I'm going Jock Peterson. Oh, yeah. Over 1.5 bases plus 105. Now, he's hit this in half of his 12 games. So why do I think he's going to hit that specifically today? Well, he's facing Rockies righty Antonio Senzatella, who's given up a 440 opponent average to righties, which is crazy. Meanwhile, Jock is crushing righties this season, a 984 OPS. That's over 200 points higher than the MLB average, okay? And not only are the stats in favor of Peterson against Senzatella, but when you look at the Rockies bullpen, they have the second highest ERA. So if he doesn't get to Senzatella, he's going to have a couple knocks against the bullpen. Over 1.5 bases. Give me that bet. Plus money. Let's go.
I have a public service announcement for Major League pitchers.
Okay.
If you are a righty, do not pitch to Jock. If you are a lefty, do not pitch to Manny Machado or Paul Goldschmidt.
Right?
Yes.
Those guys are crushing it, man. I just, yeah, you do worry about, though, with this one is them just not pitching to him, right? The only risk there, but I don't know. I don't see that happening today.
Jock just historically hasn't been a big average guy. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you're right about
I
that.
would be shocked if they don't pitch to him.
Right. There you go. That's our prop bets and our home run calls for today. If you'd like to follow along with our home run call, be sure to follow us on Twitter. And if you retweet us, you can have a chance to win some prizes. So check us out on Twitter. I like to win stuff. Who doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. So couple weather notes just to keep an eye on. Got some weather in Baltimore. Scattered rains in the area. 19% increases to 80% around 8 o'clock. So keep an eye on that one. Texas at Cleveland, moderate to heavy rain. Postponement is kind of likely there. The chances of rain increases throughout the night. Keep an eye on it. And then Oakland at Atlanta. It might be one of those, games where it's just in the South, they just have like a pop-up thunderstorm here and there. So keep an eye on it. Dodgers at White Sox, just some light sprinkles. It is cold there, so it might not be as hitter-friendly weather as, even though the wind is blowing out there.
And if you guys are going to use Bieber, do make sure you pay attention to that weather because the forecast does not look great for it. But
well, let us know who you're rolling with today in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up with all of our content that we're coming out with. And we're coming out with some NFL stuff too, so be sure to sign up for that as well. That's it for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good one. Bye.